This is Monday Night Talk with your host, Kevin Tachi.
This isn't Kevin Tachi. This is Christine James. I'm sitting next to Kevin Tachi here in the WATD studios, and this is a little cross-fertilization between talk show and news show. And this is for the primary race register of probate here for Plymouth County. We just heard from the 3 Republicans running, and now we're going to hear from the 2 Democrats. Also asking questions is Charles Mathewson, who's decided to stay because he had so much fun during the first half. Didn't want to miss out on this. Now, there are 2 Democrats in this race that are running. We've got Matt McDonough here from Marshfield. Thanks
Hi,
for
Christine,
joining us.
how are you?
Good. How are you tonight?
Good.
And Mark Lindy here, Brockton, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. So it's always good to have so many people interested in a race like this. What we did beforehand, again, we pulled the names. I was going to say to the official newsroom koozie, which has disappeared tonight. So we went for the clear plastic cup. And Mark Lindy will give his opening statement first, no longer than 2 minutes. And then we'll go to Matt McDonough, and we reverse the order at the end. So, Mark, whenever you are ready, we will begin.
Well, the seats are still warm from the last debate, so here we go. My name is Mark Lindy, and I want to thank you all at WATD for hosting this forum. I think it's probably the only chance we're going to get the word out about our candidacies on any kind of media in terms of a debate format. So it's pretty valuable that you folks are doing this, Kevin, Christine, and Charlie. So just thank you. From a media perspective, which I have for 30 years, debates are very important, so you can see the people and compare and contrast. I'm a 30-year veteran as a manager for almost 30 of those years running a nonprofit organization. I was a regional program director at Cablevision Industries. I have a degree in media management, so I deal with media and I deal with management. I'm also an educator. I teach at Massasoit Community College. I teach public speaking, I teach television production, and I teach mass communication, depending on the semester. That's a part-time job, and it's an 8 o'clock in the morning job, so you got to keep students on their toes. I had Mr. Tachi at one point, and look where he is right now. What I'm hoping to do with this office is both educate and communicate. I think it is very important to people out in the communities, the public that we serve, that they understand what the Register of Probate's office does and is and what it can do to help them. Right now, the way to communicate that is local media like radio, but having my television background, there are 27 cable stations in Plymouth County. John Buckley, who does a television show both in my station in Brockton and down at PAC TV in Plymouth, came to me and asked me how he would communicate what he was doing. Cable was an obvious choice. There are weekly newspapers in each one of the communities. So people have to be able to understand it. Biggest question I get when I'm running, you're running for Register of Deeds, you're running for Clerk of Courts. No. I'm friends with both of those people. I wouldn't run against them, okay? I'm running for an open seat that Bob McCarthy served quite ably for 14 years. What I hope to do is enhance and improve what he's done by taking the website to the next level, by also putting some of it in other languages. I've spoken to my friends at the Cape Verdean Association in Brockton, the Haitian Community Partners, and South Shore Haitians United for Progress to get some of that English translated into the languages that people speak, because if you have to pay the lawyer to do translation services for you at the same rate that you're paying him to do your work, it would be pretty costly. What I hope to do is make sure that everybody has access, that they have excellent customer service, and I'm running to help people.
Thank you very much. That was the opening statement from Mark Lindy. Now we're going to go opening statement, Matt McDonough.
Christine, thank you so much. Kevin, Charles, thank you. It's a pleasure to be back here again at WATD. I really appreciate the opportunity that you're giving all the candidates this evening to get their message out to the voters. Before I talk about myself, I want to talk about our current register, Bob McCarthy. Bob has been our register for 14 years. He is somebody who, before he was Register of Probate, was a state senator, state representative, graduate of West Point, a true gentleman. I was actually a younger guy 14 years ago, but I was out holding signs for him, helping him to get elected 14 years ago. I think he has done a tremendous job at the registry, especially since they've had reductions in staff due to economic issues post 9/11, and especially after the recession of 2008. He's done a wonderful job. What do do I think the next Register of Probate needs as their credentials? I think they need to be somebody with a legal background, a legal education, somebody who's been in the courtrooms and understands how trial practice works. They need to be somebody who's going to be a zealous advocate for open courts. And I'm somebody who, in my private practice, I've worked as an attorney of the day through the Pilgrim Bar Advocate Program, which is the same program that runs the Attorney of the Day program for the probate and family court system. I also think that you need somebody who understands what Plymouth County families are going through, the struggles and challenges that they face right now on a daily basis. I'm somebody who's been in the trenches on those issues as a selectman, as a school committee member, as somebody in my community who started a nonprofit with my local friends called Marshfield Kids at Play. Every time I've had a challenge in my community, I've taken it up as a challenge to myself, to bring myself to a point where I can bring people together, garner the resources that are necessary, and accomplish tasks on behalf of families, not only from Marshfield, but Plymouth County. While I was on the school committee, we worked on full-day kindergarten with my colleagues. We brought full-day kindergarten for the very first time to the town of Marshfield, and we challenged ourselves on that. As a member of the Board of Selectmen, I worked on the FEMA issue, which I've been into WATD talking about many times. As a result of Marshfield and Situate's appeal, because we thought that FEMA was unfair and the mapping system and the insurance rates that they were forcing upon hardworking Plymouth County families, FEMA has now put a moratorium on their expansion of their maps, which we think are grossly excessive, and we're still fighting that fight. As an assistant district attorney, I was in the DA's office for 10 years after my graduation from Boston College Law School. I came up through the ranks of the district attorney's office, handling thousands of cases, working with victims of crime, people who are dealing with drug issues, people dealing with divorces, people dealing with separation issues, people dealing with restraining orders, abuse situations. I'm no stranger to the legal issues that surround the probate and family court system. I think that we need to focus on certain things. We need to make sure that the Attorney of the Day program, and Christine's giving me the go-aheads, we'll talk about the issues as we get through the debate. In closing, I just want folks to know I have a strong legal education and background, Holy Cross graduate, I'm a proud Silver Lake graduate, I went to Boston College Law School, I was an assistant district attorney, I was a manager in that office. As a selectman and school committee member, I've been there for families in Plymouth County, and I want people to check me out for themselves at mattmcdonough.org and on Facebook at Matt McDonough for Plymouth County Register of Probate. I hope they'll consider me favorably and vote for me in the Democratic primary on September 9th.
Thank you very much, Matt McDonough. Now we're going to go to Kevin Tachi. Questions for other candidates.
Gentlemen, we've heard the question several times on whether or not a lawyer is best to run the office of probate. Why is that true or untrue, and what does that say about you as a candidate? We'll go with Matt.
Kevin, thank you for the question. As I said in my opening, I think it's very essential. It's the first thing that I talk about. You need to have a legal background. It's not required by law, but this is an office where you're dealing with attorneys on a daily basis. You're dealing with pro se litigants, people who are representing themselves, because you're not entitled to an attorney in the probate and family court system. You need somebody who, without hesitation, is going to understand exactly what the people are looking for at the front counter, who understands the subject matter of all the filings that are coming into the court system. It takes time to understand those things if you're not a lawyer, and there's a learning curve there that I think you really have to spend some time to learn about. I think that being an attorney also helps with outreach. I want to engage in programming, creating guardianship programs and domestic violence programs as a clinic for the probate and family court system in Plymouth County, much like they already exist in Norfolk County under Register Pat McDermott. I've been in contact with Mr. McDermott. He's given me great advice about additions that we can make to Plymouth County, but they rely upon being able to reach out to the Bar Advocate program that I'm already a member of, Pilgrim Bar Advocate, reaching out to the Plymouth District Bar Association, reaching out to the Plymouth Bar Association. Those are relationships that I've had for years, and I have them because I'm a practicing attorney in the court system. So I have the contacts and I have the education because I went to law school. I heard a debate earlier tonight. I don't think that people who go to law school think they're better than anybody else. They just chose that this is a path for their career that they want to work on and dedicate themselves to, and I think it helps the next register to be an attorney.
Same question, Mark Lindy.
I take the opposite point of view, and the reason why is I think you need to be independent from the attorneys that you're dealing with on a regular basis. It's customer service for the public that is number one. It's management experience that you have that you can put to good use in terms of, I deal with volunteers right now. To get somebody to volunteer their time in this day and age to come out and do a program or cover an event is difficult because people are working 2 and 3 jobs. It's also about leadership. Pretty much every organization that I've been involved with, somehow I end up as the chair or the vice chair or something like that. I was chairman of my school committee. We did a $33 million renovation without passing on the cost to any of the member communities. And what I hope to do is use my experience that I have. Communication is essential, okay? I believe that you have to get out there, and I've never had an 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday job in my entire life. I've worked 2 and 3 jobs, juggled them. I've written about things as a practicing journalist. I've communicated things, and what I intend to do going forward is to put that experience to good use.
Thank you, Mark Lindy. Charlie Matthewson, your questions for the candidates.
I think this is going to be a central issue in this race. So one more bite at this apple, Mark. You have a background in media management. This is managing a court of law with many departments. How does your experience qualify you to be Register of Probate?
It is an administrative and management position. It is a court position, but right in an article in the Boston Globe, they called it an administrative position. I have administered 17 different separate communities when I worked for the regional cable company. I have dealt with a regional school committee. We have 9 member towns. I was chairman of that committee twice. I am very good at managing anything. I've worked my entire life from the lowest position and came back to the highest position, and I absolutely feel that I can do the same in the courthouse. I'm a quick study. I went to school. My degree, it's from University of Miami in political science and broadcast journalism, and my master's is in media management from Fitchburg State, then college. Those things combined will stack me up against any attorney any day of the week.
Okay, Matt, you're the attorney in this race. You're in private practice with your father, former Sheriff Joe McDonough. I saw someone very similar looking to him holding a sign out on Route 139 earlier tonight. Anyway, the rating services characterize...
Was the sign for me, Charles?
I
Wasn't for me. It
I
wasn't for
went
me.
by so fast. It was hard to know.
I hope so.
The rating services, the attorney rating services, characterize the practice you have with your father as specializing in criminal law, white-collar crime. Your own LinkedIn page begins with litigation and makes no mention of family law. What does that have to do with probate?
Well, when I first came out of the district attorney's office, obviously my strongest background was in trial work in the criminal court system. But as a practitioner in a small business, you have to learn quickly to accept any business that comes through the front door. And our aim, my father and I, when we started our practice, was that it's a family practice. We're father and son working together. We wanted to make sure that we're comprehensive in how we handle people's problems. So somebody may come in with an issue that starts off as a criminal matter. You may find out that they have a divorce going on, or they may be about to have a divorce. You may find out that they have a guardianship issue. And I've learned to branch off very quickly and learn those subject matters from a legal perspective. As far as when it comes to issues of evidence and trial practice, I have more experience than most people who practice these days. I spent 10 years in the district attorney's office. As I said, I was deputy chief of district courts for all of Norfolk County for a period of time, as well as chief of district courts for Dedham and Brookline, two of the busiest trial courts. Dedham is one of the busiest trial courts around. So I have the administrative background. I have the legal background. I've worked in the area of family law, and I've given advice to my clients as best as I can to help them navigate the family and probate court system.
Okay.
Let's go to Kevin. Question.
As we illustrated earlier with the Republicans, one of the things that I had brought up is that there's been a couple of different register of probates in the state, 3 different, where there's been issues with the particular office that the state has discussed, while going away from it being an elected office to being an appointed position. Give me an argument as to why this should remain an elected post and that a professional should not be appointed on the basis of solid qualifications. Mark.
Depends on who's doing the appointing. Okay, we've seen appointments, political appointments from numerous politicians for different offices, going all the way from the White House down to city or town administrations. That is like hiring somebody during a job interview. Elected, you're the representative of the people. The people decide who is going to represent them. And I do not like offices taken away from elected representation. I think it's really important.
Same question.
Same question.
The political reality is that it's a part of our Constitution, so the process would be quite onerous. It's not as simple as just saying that
Right, but I
because
know
a
that
couple of bad eggs showed up, we're going to get rid of the position and make it an appointed position. That being said, I think there is a value in accountability in public service, and I think that when you have somebody who's an elected official, they're accountable. I was accountable as a school committee member to my community. I was accountable as a selectman to my community. I'm now in my second term. I serve as the vice chair of the County Advisory Board, which is the legislative branch for county government. I'm accountable to so many different people in the jobs that I do, and it's the pressure of knowing that if I don't do the job right, I will be sent packing. They'll vote against me if they think that I'm not doing the job well. And I think there's a strong value to that.
Same question, Charlie. I mean, new question, Charlie.
New question, Charlie.
I thought you were running for office, didn't you? I looked a little scared there for a minute.
I was waiting for his
Answer
answer.
the question, please.
I was hoping to expand on that.
Oh, did you want to?
would you want to?
Okay,
Go ahead,
you can.
rebuttal.
Go right ahead.
Yes, my dad was a civil servant. My dad was director of parole for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He earned all of his positions, starting from a psychiatric social worker, parole officer, parole supervisor, all the way up to director of parole. He actually refused an appointment of the governor for the chairman of the parole board, because his famous line is, "Whose you-know-what do I have to kiss?" So he stayed right where he was. I believe that in terms of merit and integrity, that's what's important in this whole situation. I think the whole elected thing, campaigns are expensive. Campaigns take a lot of time, but you actually have to connect with the voters one by one and not worry about the endorsements or anything like that, to have your integrity intact, to look yourself in the mirror. My father taught me, look yourself in the mirror every day when you're shaving and make sure you can live with yourself.
Okay.
Can I ask a question now?
Yes, you may now, Mr. Matthewson.
Thank you, Christine. We have fun in these political forums.
I
You
can
have
tell.
to.
Supposed to.
I just want to know what happened with the koozie.
So do I, and there's going to be some questions tomorrow in the news.
Investigation ongoing.
Yes.
Breaking news.
What are the responsibilities of the Register of Probate, and what would you do with the job, Matt?
First thing is transition. The second, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected in November, is to start off running. I've had a great relationship with Mr. McCarthy over the years. I would immediately be in his office soliciting his help on transition. First step is to meet all of the staff and make sure that they have a personal relationship with you. You want to understand everything that the staff does. I do have some goals that I would like to bring in the first year. One is cross-training. I want to make sure that all of the staff are cross-trained. There are several different departments that exist within the registry, and when somebody may not be available, may be sick, may take a leave, it may slow down the process. And one of the things that we need to be is expedient in the processing of these legal documents and people's needs. I also think that community outreach is of utmost importance. As I said before, there's two programs that I think are very good in Norfolk County. One is a clinic for domestic violence, and I worked in the district attorney's office in Norfolk County, so I know a little bit about it. It was a partnership between the DA's office and the Registry of Probate, so they have a victim witness advocate who is available, working for the DA's office, available in the Registry of Probate to help people who have had restraining orders granted, to make sure that they know of all of the services that are available to them as potential victims of domestic violence. And the second one is the guardianship program, helping folks navigate what is sometimes a very confusing area of law, trying to make sure that if somebody's a minor or they're mentally incapacitated, that they know how to apply for and obtain guardianship. Those are two programs that I think are very important, and it goes above and beyond the job description of Register of Probate. I also think that outreach to the councils on aging across Plymouth County is absolutely necessary. I've visited several of them myself in this campaign, and the reception has been very welcoming, and they want to see more of their elected officials at the councils.
That's good on the second part of the question. What about the first part? What are the responsibilities of the Register of Probate?
Well, you're responsible for the Plymouth and Brockton office of the registry. In Plymouth County, there are 2 offices. In other counties, there may be only 1. You're responsible for the management of all the employees, the processing of all filings that have to do with divorce, guardianship, adoption, name changing, child support. There are many different issues. Basically, it's the intersection of law and family. And you're the one who's responsible to make sure that you process that paperwork effectively and efficiently. And there's some things that I think that I could bring to the table that might speed up that process a little bit for Plymouth County, and make sure that you're giving the right tools to the judges when they're adjudicating cases so that justice can be administered swiftly.
Same question, Mark Lindy. What are the responsibilities of the Register of Probate, and what would you do with the job?
Well, I try to start off and do like the top 6 list: wills, trusts, estates, guardianship, divorce, adoptions, child support, name changes. Those are the basics. Okay. The management of the overall office, dealing with the staff, dealing with the customer service. One thing I find about the court system, not particularly the probate office, but the court system in general, is it is not customer service training, customer service friendly. So what I would do, Matt talks about the cross-training. I want to make sure we have customer service training. The other thing is, in terms of the transition, I learned a long time ago from a great district attorney in Plymouth County, Bill O'Malley in Brockton, who was a Democrat, who when Michael Sullivan was appointed to his seat upon his death, he kept most of those people in place because they had the experience and the knowledge and the dedication. I want to keep the people in place, but I also want to bring some new ideas to the staff as well. 37 positions that are in that office, and some people may be retiring. Okay, in terms of the outreach, that is my number one, because I am a very familiar person with councils on aging, the Brockton one where I work and live, and a few others that I've gone to. That is where kind of the rubber meets the road. Some of these are really sensitive family issues, okay? I'm dealing with 2 elderly parents that are in their mid-80s, okay? And my brother and I are about to deal with some issues that we have to take care of that are going to be difficult, and we're not necessarily on the same page. So, where the Register of Probate doesn't offer the legal advice, he has to be there to be sensitive to deal with these family issues, okay? That would be my short answer, I guess.
Okay.
Just one clarification, Charles. Just the district attorney's office is complete at-will employment. So when a district attorney comes in, they have free reign to be able to make decisions, and Register of Probate does not. There's union contracts that are in place that you have to abide by. You don't negotiate the contracts, but you have to abide by them, and you have to deal with those issues on a different basis.
Let's just have a moment of appreciation for the great Bill O'Malley. Okay.
He was a terrific guy. That's when I started here, when he was the district attorney. He was terrific.
Absolutely great guy.
I want to jump in here with a quick question, gentlemen, before we get to the lightning round. There's been a discussion by almost every candidate about bringing new technology to the Office of Probate. What would you do to modernize that office? Let's start with you, Matt McDonough.
Christine, one of the things that I've noticed while volunteering as an attorney of the day is that we're falling a little bit behind on technology for the attorneys of the day. I've spoken with many of the members of this volunteer group through the Pilgrim Bar Advocates, and they tell me they would appreciate having a computer in the Attorney of the Day's office. We want to make sure that they can have rapid access to information. When you have 15 to 20 people that have signed up for free services and you're only there till 2 o'clock, we need to do everything we can to make sure that all the attorneys have access to information immediately. So I think it's important that they have computer access, that they have the access to a printer. I think it's important that we promote e-filing within the office, even though that is being handled on a more global level by the state court system. You need somebody who can advocate efficiently with the state court system, and I think I have those qualifications as well.
That surprised me when you said they have no computer. Completely surprised me.
They don't. They have a file system where they have all the forms available,
All right.
and they try to keep up on making sure all the paper forms are in there. But if you have a computer there, you don't need the paper forms. You just hit print and you got it.
What about you, Mark Lindich? Technology. What do you think you would bring in? What would you change?
Well, I'd like to bring in, we did it at Southeastern Regional where I'm on the school committee. We gave every incoming freshman a computer, and that they get to keep with them for the 3 years of the program. Now, hopefully the computer won't be outdated at the end of the 3 years, but the technology for courts has not been funded properly. Courts have not been funded properly, so one of the things that has to be done is to go up to Beacon Hill and get the funding for the probate court to operate in the whole court system in general. Also, obviously, videos. There's no reason why videos can't be done with some of this explanatory stuff. It does not substitute for a person right in front of you. I'm not a big distance learning guy. I'm a teacher at Massasoit. I like my students in front of me. They asked me to develop a hybrid class right now. You can't teach public speaking by video, but you can give some of that information out. Cable, like I said, 27 communities. We're not exactly, what's on late night TV? Nothing. Put it on late night TV. You can tell them the probate clinic is on TV. That's what I would do.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's go to the lightning round. What do you say?
Let's do that.
Yes. All right.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. And of course, these are the questions which, in a perfect world, you either answer yes or no, or 1 or 2 sentences tops. I'm going to start with the same lightning round question that I asked the 3 Republican candidates, just because we want to get a feel for this. Now, this position, Register of Probate, 6-year term, correct? $130,000 a year. Benefits package, we're estimating, this is a guess, worth maybe $20,000, $30,000 a year. We guessed that, we thought the governor maybe made around, what, $140 a year? And that's a 4-year term. So this is a great job. How much of this appeals to you about this job percentage-wise? Is this 20% of the reason why you're running for this office? Is this 100% of the reason why you're running for this office? Or is it 0% of the reason? Give me a percentage, and you've got 2 sentences to answer this about the percentage that this appeals to you. Let's start with you, Matt.
I knew it was about 110 at one point. I actually didn't know the number until I listened to the earlier debate. So I can tell you that the opportunity for service and a full-time job is what matters to me most.
Well, what's the percentage?
I don't know if I could attribute a percentage to it. We'll say 10%.
Okay. What about you, Mark? What's your percentage?
Service above self, Rotary. That's what I do and I've done for a long time. 10%, I would never want to say 0% because I think anybody that says that would be disingenuous. You have to collect a living wage.
Okay.
Right.
And this would be a career changer for me.
Kevin Tachi, lightning round question for our 2 candidates.
I'm going to go clever with this one. We got 4 ballot questions this November. Question 4 on the November ballot would entitle employees to earn and utilize paid sick days. How would you plan to vote on this? What's your thought on this? 1 or 2 sentences to explain.
Start with you, Mark.
I'll be glad to answer it. It's not an issue in our race. However, I have employees, and I've been an employee for my whole life. I believe there should be earned sick time, so I would be in favor of it, and I would vote for it. And the other half...
That was it. That was it.
Okay. Same question, Matt McDonough.
I would agree with my colleague. Mark is right. People should be able to earn sick time.
Okay. Charlie Matthewson, lightning round question.
When you need to solve a problem, do you take a pragmatic or an idealistic approach?
And who you want to start with?
Oh, Mark. Top down or bottom up?
I like to start idealistic, but I also like to be realistic, so pragmatic. I happen to be a middle child, and I like everybody to get along, and I like things to be solved by consensus, so a little of both.
Okay. Matt, what about you?
I'll use your analogy. I'm the oldest of 5, so I'm probably a little bit more pragmatic, but I don't think anybody would run for an office like this without having some idealism as part of their goals.
Okay. Kevin Tachi, lightning round question.
We'll reuse this one from the Republicans. 3 words that would describe why voters should pick you.
And let's start with Mark.
Leadership, integrity, and experience.
Matt, 3 words.
Experience, compassion, and integrity.
Okay. Charlie, question for the candidates.
I'm going to steal the question that both of you like to ask.
I know what it is.
Me too.
County government, should we keep it or is it time to go? Matt, I think we know your answer.
Right in my subject. All right. As I said, I'm the vice chair of the County Advisory Board, which is the legislative branch of county government. We're the ones who vote on the budgets for the Treasurer's Office, County Commissioner, and Register of Deeds. I think county government has a place in Plymouth County. I think that we are defining it right now. We went through a rough patch about 7 years ago till about 3 years ago.
Just 2 sentences.
Just 2 sentences?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
I thought we were past the lightning round.
No.
My apologies.
No. It's still lightning. It's a long piece of lightning there.
There's a future for county government in Plymouth County if it's done right.
Okay.
Hey, Mark?
I agree with my colleague. You're not going to find a difference on that. I'm a big fan of regional government, and I think it can be more cost efficient and effective and collaborative.
Okay. Are you for term limits, yes or no, Matt McDonough?
It depends.
Yes or no?
It depends on the office. I strongly
Yes or
believe
no?
people should be voted out if they're not doing their job.
Okay. Yes or no, Mark Lindy? Term limits, do you believe in them?
Actually, I do.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, any more lightning round questions?
Yeah. Is 6 years too long of a term for this office?
Let's start with
Yes
Mark.
or no?
No.
Okay. Matt?
I think this office could be 4 or 6.
Okay. Yes or no? All right. Charlie?
This is now a moot question, but did you support the proposal to accept Central American children in Massachusetts, Matt?
2 sentences?
2 sentences on that one. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Children, when I deal with this issue, my heart goes out to the children, but we need to be more proactive in our government in making sure that the children aren't making it to the border by illegal coyotes taking thousands of dollars from families that don't have that money, their life savings. We need our foreign outreach to be more effective on the federal level.
Okay. Same question, Mark Lindy.
My father came here as a legal immigrant. What he had to do to get here as a child with his family was somebody had to be there to sponsor him and to make sure that his parents would make a living wage.
Any more lightning round questions, gentlemen?
Is the Register of Probate more of a management position, yes or no?
It's a management position
Yes
that
or no?
requires legal education.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I'll say it is a management position, Kevin. You got the yes out of me.
I think you know the answer for me. It is a management position, and I think it requires management experience.
Yes or no?
It's really tough with yes or no. That's why I love to ask these questions. It's great. Charles
Okay,
Matheson.
one word. Do
Oh,
you consider
goodness.
yourself liberal, moderate, or conservative, Matt?
I've always considered myself somebody who's moderate but progressive.
Mark.
Moderate.
Okay. This is when I want to switch gears here, gentlemen. I want to give you an opportunity to ask each other a couple of questions. So, Mark, Lindy, we're going to start with you, and you can ask Matt the first question.
I hate this part, to be perfectly honest with you.
Sorry. I had to ramp it up a little bit.
The issues come up in both debates, with legal experience or not legal experience.
Right.
I guess the question I want to ask Matt, with respect, is why didn't you run for district attorney of Plymouth County? Our district attorney is not being challenged. He's a Republican. We don't have a Democrat.
I'm running for Register of Probate because I have fought on behalf of families my entire life. And I see this as a great opportunity to provide people the information and the tools they need when they're going through some of the darkest times that they can experience in the court system, going through the loss of a loved one, going through a divorce. The only bright spot, as Mark and I have talked about, is adoption. And I think that my services and experience would serve people well who are coming through the Registry of Probate courthouse.
Thank you. Question for Mark Lindy.
Mark, you and I, again, we have talked about the legal issue in this race many, many times. You are not an attorney. You don't have any legal education whatsoever. Your only experience is in management. You're going into presumably, if you're victorious, and we've talked, if you won the primary, I'd be with you 100%. Presumably, if you won, how would you be able to pick up on the learning curve for the subject matter that you're going to be dealing with on a daily basis with thousands of cases that are legal cases?
I've already started. I'm a quick study. There are 37 great people that work in that office. There's a foundation that's already been laid. And what I need to do is make sure it's customer service friendly and people can access the services. Right now, there needs to be a modernization with technology and communication so people can do that. And I'm the person to do that.
Okay. Another question for Matt.
Another
Just
question
because
for
we
Matt.
know you love this so much.
Well, gee, thanks.
Should we reverse the order?
Why don't we
I go
reverse
first?
the order?
If you want to, okay, that's
Sure,
fine.
sure.
Mark and I have had a great relationship on the campaign trail. Our families have gotten to know each other because we go to so many different events together. I'd like to ask Mark, when this race is over, what you're going to do to reward your wonderful wife who has been going around Plymouth County with you nonstop.
Oh,
Remember, this is recorded and we played it.
that's easy. That's easy. First of all, it's take a real vacation.
There you go.
Okay, because as other candidates have proven, you really can't take a vacation in the middle of a campaign. It doesn't work. My anniversary is right in the middle of this campaign, as is my birthday. So I will reward her with some much-needed time off. I will have very little time to do that because I will have to go through a transition period and give my employer notice in order to do that. But we've been married for 4 years. And they've been 4 wonderful years. I've known her a little longer than that, and I'm truly lucky. So
Good answer.
my question, along the same lines, is you have a very nice family, okay? I cannot beat you on the cuteness factor with your daughter up at the microphone, okay? Similar question. What would you do with your family in terms of a reward?
No, thank you. This race has been challenging. I have 3 kids. Kara's 5, Coleman is 3, and Katie is now 10 months old. Katie's the one Mark was talking about. I was giving a speech when Mark and I were at an event, and Katie decided to put her little hand over my mouth in the middle of the speech. So I stopped the speech. It was smart. But my family, they deserve a lot of praise. My wife, Suzanne, works as an assistant district attorney here in Plymouth County. She runs an Irish dancing school on top of that. She gives so much time to me. I definitely want to take a long overdue vacation with the 3 kids. Hopefully we'll be able to go down to Florida for a few days and visit their grandfather.
Okay. Any other questions for each other that you want to ask? Because we have some time. I want to get another question in here. Now, if you are elected or appointed to another office or possession of their job, are you leaving that position or giving a notice that you're leaving? Let's start with you, Matt.
You'll have to clarify that one a little bit, Christine. Do you mean because I'm a selectman currently?
You know, if selectman,
Right,
a lawyer with a firm with a practice, what would you do?
Well, I would have to shut down my law practice. I would
Okay.
not practice outside of the registry of probate for sure. I'm fortunate that my father is my law partner, so I know he'll be able to help me out with making sure our clients get all the services that they need. With respect to my job as a selectman, I was elected to a 3-year term. I made sure I checked with our town council ahead of time before I got into this race, and there are no legal conflicts or ethical conflicts. There are still a number of issues on the selectman's plate, including the FEMA issue, making sure we keep fighting the drug prescription issue that I've been working on, and I think I will be staying on as selectman for the remainder of my term.
When does your term end as selectman?
It will be 2016.
2016. Okay. Same question for you, Mark, with all your activities.
Okay, I've checked with State Ethics Commission to make sure. I serve as a volunteer, unpaid school committee member. I can stay if I want. We meet once a month, and then we have subcommittee meetings.
Do you think you would?
I'd have to think about the re-election. I have a 4-year term, and they would overlap. I would definitely fill out the remainder of my term because I do not want my city council and school committee to appoint my successor. I want the voters to elect. So that is, I am done the presidential election year, which is 2016. As for my cable TV job, that's a full-time job. When I was running for state rep, we talked about full-time versus part-time. I wasn't willing to give it up because I couldn't afford to give it up. Okay, I can't do both. That's a full-time job plus, so is this. This may be 8:30 to 4:30. The teaching job, I probably would pursue maybe teaching one class. I've checked with ethics on that as well. May not stay with a state institution. I may go private because in my mind, I might want to not have any kind of connection whatsoever.
Okay.
There's one other job I'm keeping, by the way, and that's as the faculty advisor, as the attorney advisor to the Marshfield mock trial team. So we'll be working on that after the election as well.
Okay. Just checking. Any other follow-up questions? We're going to go to closing statements, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. We're going to reverse order. We started with Mark and we went to Matt. So this time we will start with Matt and then go to Mark.
Christine, thank you so much. Thank you to WATD. This year is an opportunity for families in Plymouth County to vote for somebody who is compassionate about the issues that they face and has a strong legal education and background to be the next Register of Probate. I believe that I'm that candidate. I was born and raised in Plymouth County. I've lived in several towns here. I now live in Marshfield with my beautiful wife, Suzanne, our 3 kids. I've worked as a prosecutor for 10 years. I have the experience in management, managing many different assistant district attorneys and staff members during that period of time. As a member of the school committee, I made sure we worked hard that early education, full-day kindergarten would be available to our entire town. As a member of Marshfield Kids at Play, we built a playground. As a member of the new Marshfield High School Building Committee, we just opened up our brand new high school last week that I've worked 3 years on with 15 other people on our building committee. As a member of the Selectmen Board, I have worked hard to make sure that people do not go into foreclosure because of unfair FEMA maps and unfair increases in their insurance rates for flood insurance. On the drug issues that people face on a daily basis, I have been there to take prescription drugs off the street with a depository program that has spread all over Plymouth County. I volunteered as an attorney of the day in the probate and family court system. I've identified tonight the program and what it needs to be enhanced. I think that we need the clinics for domestic violence, for guardianship. We need cross-training for the employees to make sure that we're efficient in how we serve people when they come to the front desk in Plymouth and Brockton. Outreach is so important in this office. It's above and beyond the job description. I will be out in Plymouth County in every community, communicating with people, making sure they understand what their rights are when they come into the court system. In closing, I'm a devoted professional. I've devoted my career to protecting and advocating for families in Plymouth County, both in and outside of the courthouse. I ask for the support of the voters to continue that work on their behalf as the next Register of Probate. If folks, again, want to check me out further after tonight's debate, they can go to mattmcdonough.org or on Facebook, Matt McDonough for Plymouth County Register of Probate. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank Mark. We've had a great campaign so far.
Thank you very much. That was Matt McDonough, his closing statement. Mark Lindy, your closing statement.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to present my case to the voters of Plymouth County for the election on September 9th. Voters will have an opportunity to have an advocate, a fighter, someone that has communication, educational, and fiscal management skills if elected to this office. I'm a volunteer by heart. I'm an unpaid public servant. I've done that as a library trustee since 1996, 2 terms on the Southeastern Regional School Committee, as 2 years as its chair, and all sorts of countless volunteer opportunities, Rotary president, things like that. Those are my resume, those are my qualifications. But in life, I'm a teacher. Both of my grandmothers were teachers. My mother was a teacher, and I mentioned my father's parole service, but I didn't mention that he was a professor. Every day is a lifelong learning opportunity, and what I hope to bring to this office is to make sure people actually understand what it is, what it can do for them, and not to be afraid of it. I want to communicate all of that information out there to anybody that'll listen. It is not the world's most interesting race in the world. We go from the United States Senate down all the way down. I'm glad we're not last on the ballot. We get to speak last most of the time, but we're not last on the ballot. I believe in service above self. That's what I've done. That's what I've shown. I'm somebody that helps people. I'm very compassionate, and I'm kind of the go-to guy. People call me up on the phone and ask to be steered in the right direction. I know if I'm sitting in at the Plymouth County Registry of Probate as a manager and an administrator, I'll be able to do that. I'd love to invite people to check out my website at marklindy.com, electmarklindy.com, and my Facebook is electmarklindy. I will be available at any time. I put my home phone number and my cell phone on every piece of literature that I have, so I'll be available and accessible, no unlisted numbers here. I thank you for the opportunity, and I also thank Matt for a good, clean campaign.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. You've been listening to the two candidates for the Democratic spot for the primary ticket for Plymouth County Register of Probate. We've been asking them questions. You'll hear selected cuts from both of these men tomorrow during our morning drive news segment. Of course, you'll also hear it on our website in its entirety, 959watd.com. Been joined tonight by the host of Monday Night Talk, that's our own Kevin Tachi, WATD reporter Charles Mathewson as well. And I can't ignore this handsome gentleman behind me from Whitman Hanson Community Access. Been taking some great shots at the back of my head. I appreciate that. Primary night. This is primary day, rather, September 9th. I always tell people we will be having complete coverage that day to bring you all the races just as soon as they happen. We go on the air at 7 o'clock for the pregame show. 8 o'clock is when we bring in our people and really start going to town, calling in the results, having reporters out in the field. And as I tell people, remember, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. I'm Christine James for WATD. Thanks for listening.
Well, we'll just kind of close things out right now and let folks know that this isn't it as far as...